But it's we really want to have a big picture mindset more than anything. That we're still looking at different combinations and getting our new guys up to speed with what we're doing and just creating this year's identity, which is going to be always a little bit slightly different from year to year. But we're doing some really good things, and we're looking forward to the matchup tomorrow.
Okay, excuse me, Dan.
Hey Frank, I feel like I've asked this maybe 5 or 6 different ways, but I'll try again. With the 71-day off season, wherever it was, what was a realistic expectation for where LeBron would be, considering the mileage that he's had on his legs over his career and stuff like that, and just kind of what's been your reaction to like where he's at 20 games into the season, considering that short layoff?
You're asking my expectation of what his
Just
play.
where you thought he would be, considering a tight off season at his age.
Yeah, I mean, any concern I had was centered around the first probably 2 to 3 weeks of the season. Not to this point. It's just a matter of making sure that he got his legs under him, at the appropriate pace, and that we didn't go too fast too soon, with that. I think once you get into a month or so of work, I feel like the off season is behind us, and he's in a rhythm, and I feel like that's where he's at right now. He's obviously those first couple weeks played really well, and there was not a whole lot of a rust or a bigger need for a slower ramp up or anything like that. So I think the way he started the season was really impressive. And where he's at right now, I think is where we would expect him to be, at this point in a normal season.
To quickly follow up on that, do you feel like AD has been able to get into the same rhythm because of kind of some of the stops and starts that he's had with like little tiny nagging injuries?
Yeah, I think it is slightly different. I think the fact that AD's missed a couple games because of some minor injuries, I think has, what's the right word, restricted him a little bit or slowed him down from the same type of build-up, but he's not far behind. Next.
Frank, I'm going to jump in. It's Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Hey, there was the play, I think, at the end of the third quarter when Kuz got ISO defensively against Trae Young and locked him up, and Kuz kind of joked about it on Twitter as kind of the idea that he doesn't play defense. Then earlier in the trip, he had the game with the 6 offensive rebounds, he had a couple doubles. I'm just curious, in terms of like maturity and the evolution of his game, have you seen him embrace some of the dirty work more this year than even last year? When I know he did take steps defensively last year, but has that continued to evolve this season?
No doubt. There's no doubt that he's taken another step. I think the mindset of buying into the role with this team, this Anthony and LeBron team, of being a dirty work guy and a guy that can carry the load offensively at times, but really someone that can impact the game in more ways than scoring. That's the biggest area of growth that I think Kuz has exhibited toward the end of last year and into this year. The crashing, the running the floor, and then working his tail off on the defensive end. I think you're seeing all those things play out.
Sorry about that, Frank. My computer went dead. Next up, we're going to go with Jovan.
Hey Frank, when you guys added Mark this offseason, was this a matchup that you guys were kind of envisioning him, for? I know he's kind of become matchup based depending on the team, but his post defense against Nikola and kind of his past success, was this kind of a matchup you were looking at?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't sign Mark for any individual matchups, but playing against some of the better centers in the league and having a defensive presence that can sort of tag team with Anthony with what he's able to do, but we don't want him to do full time. That's part of the job description. So knowing that Mark is an elite defender, definitely weighed into us bringing him to our team. But it wasn't based on an individual matchup.
Okay. And while I was gone, Bill, did you ask a question? Okay, great. Benjamin, please.
Frank, your lineup of LeBron, Trez, Kuz, Talon, and Alex has only played 30-some minutes together, but by a qualifying metric, they're the second best defensive lineup in the league this year. How do you find that group? And could you use it more? And did you even get to practice with it before we saw in the games? Like, how did that group come to be?
We threw a lot. I mean, we've seen a lot of different combinations in practice and whatnot. That metric that you just threw out is on an entirely too small of a sample size. For us to really find meaning in it. I think we still have a lot of basketball to be played. Like I said, I think it's only 2 games that we've looked at that, but it's part of roster exploration. And when we hit a little speed bump on our last trip where we felt like we could get a little bit of a burst just by shortening the rotation, and it wasn't by design to just throw those particular 5 guys together, but it's just sort of moving up 2 guys that have been playing well, Talon and Alex, in the rotation and getting them a few more minutes. And then in each of the last 2 games, we've hit stretches with that group out there. Like you said, where we played solid defense and we're able to go on a run offensively. So we'll continue to see how that plays out.
Okay, and last question, we're going to go with Sarah, please.
Hey, Coach. I was just wondering if you noticed if Dennis's quickness gave you guys any more extra versatility when attacking screens.
Attacking screens offensively or defensively?
Offensively. I guess defensively, too, has been pretty
Yeah, I think his impact has been felt more on the defensive end than even the offensive end. But, his ability to, really with screens or without screens, and oftentimes it's more about beating his own man, than attacking the pick and rolls that he's getting into the lane. But his speed is a problem for opposing teams.